Hello there. When Anakin Skywalker lost to Obi-Wan on Mustafar, Palpatine placed him in Darth Vader's iconic metal suit. However, this came with many drawbacks, all of which Palpatine intended as a way to punish Vader for his loss against Obi-Wan. The suit Vader lived in was horrible. It was heavy and allowed little to no free movement. At all times, he had needles digging into his skin and causing immense pain. This placed him in a state of agony at all times, which is what Palpatine wanted because it increased his hate and anger, which fuels his lust for the dark side. Essentially, he was much weaker in this suit when he could have become a lot more powerful. But what would have happened if he did have a stronger suit? In canon, Darth Vader didn't actually want to change suits, which is one of the leading factors to why it stayed the same for 20 years. He wanted to be punished, and he felt like always living in pain was what he deserved after killing Padme. But let's imagine a scenario in which Vader actually decides to upgrade his suit so that he can become more powerful and live in less pain. In order for him to change suits, he must speak to his master. With Palpatine's blessing, he can have the best possible knowledge to create the best suit. Vader enters Palpatine's office and explains what he wants to do. For 12 years he has lived as Darth Vader and experienced pain on a level no other man has ever felt. It was time to change. The Emperor frowns. He doesn't want this at all. In his mind, Vader is meant to live in pain for the rest of his life and stay weak. Vader even asking him this worries Palpatine. Numerous times Vader attempted to overthrow Palpatine, but he was never strong enough. Palpatine created Vader's suit to be specifically weak to him because he never wanted to be overthrown and killed by Darth Vader. This changed over time because in Revenge of the Sith he tells Yoda that he wants Anakin to take his place, but after his loss to Kenobi he completely changed his mind. Palpatine commands Vader to never think of this again. He tells him that if he ever changes his suit, he will kill him slowly and painfully. Palpatine raises his fingertips and points them directly at Vader before sparking lightning over his robotic body, causing endless pain. Vader drops to the floor and feels every emotion possible. Lightning quickly became a form of torture for Vader since he was placed in the suit. Palpatine stops and orders Vader to leave him. This whole confrontation only left Vader more enraged. He knew he could change suits. It would make him stronger and not be in physical pain all the time. He needed this. It wouldn't be the first time that Vader went behind Palpatine's back to do something. Vader left Coruscant in his starship and hit hyperspace, arriving towards the unknown regions. He needed to be as far away from Palpatine that he could be. Arriving on the Sith world Exegol, he lands his ship and heads inside an ancient temple. This temple was full of a Sith cult named the Sith Eternal. They were quick to offer their services and help Vader. Vader was strapped to a table as they operated on him. They removed his armor, leaving him a limbless man once again. Then before he knew it, they knocked him out so that he would be asleep. If he could feel what they were about to do, he would not stop screaming from the pain. When Vader came back to life, the new and improved changes had been made. A Sith Eternal member approached him to explain the changes they had made. Vader peered down at his suit when he explained the changes. Notable upgrades that stood out to him were that his suit was completely resistant to Force lightning, which meant Palpatine could never torture him again. His helmet had been removed and replaced with only half a mask that covered his mouth, which was far more comfortable. All of the needles in his skin were removed. Even on his feet, he now wore mini jetpacks so that he could hover and fly in the air. Weapon systems were installed in his suit, such as blasters and flamethrowers. His new suit was immaculate. He felt invincible. But best of all, his entire suit of armor was made from beskar, the most powerful material in the galaxy. His new suit made him feel more alive than he ever has. The enhancements have left him stronger, mentally and physically. Before he returns to challenge his master and take the throne, he needs to get used to his suit. When he informs the Sith Eternal that he needs to practice his new suit, dozens of them offer their lives to him in order for him to practice. For days on end, he trains and kills thousands. He felt how his lightsaber felt with the new suit and how greater the Force worked. Lord Vader had never been this powerful. His raw strength was like nothing he had ever felt before. He knew it was time. The minute he saw his master again, Palpatine would try and kill him. But this time, Vader wouldn't let him. As he traveled back to the Outer Rim, he goes to Coruscant in search of his master. He enters his office to find Palpatine sitting in his chair. He was shocked, but after the shock faded, he was left with complete and total anger. He rose from his seat, igniting his crimson blade before even speaking a word. Then he confirmed what Vader already knew. Because he had upgraded his suit and disobeyed his direct orders, he would die. But Vader spoke with sincerity. All his life he was a tool in Palpatine's game, but not anymore. Today Palpatine would face his wrath and die. Now Vader followed Palpatine's footsteps and ignited his lightsaber. Raising it above his head, he charged at the Emperor. Vader had waited for this moment for over 10 years. He never had the power or ability to defeat his master, but now things were different. As they swung at each other, their blades met. Their strength was equal. Vader was shocked at how proficient Palpatine was with his blade, but quickly remembered that he knew all 7 forms of lightsaber combat, whereas Vader only specialized in one. But as Palpatine swung at Vader, he could use all parts of his body to block. Beskar was resistant to a lightsaber, which meant Palpatine had to be crafty in how he would ultimately defeat Vader. Vader continued to block his master's strikes, using his arms, legs, and even his torso at times. He was extremely powerful, and Palpatine was amazed by this. Where Palpatine gained an advantage with his apprentice was his speed. His movements were like a blur as he leaped around the room. Striking Vader from all angles, he was able to use his speed to push Vader to the ground and force push his lightsaber across the room, leaving Vader defenseless. Palpatine once again raised his fingertips at Vader and shot lightning at him. Expecting screams of desperation and pain, he began to cackle, thriving in his victory. But none of that happened. Vader had remained on the ground emotionless. No pain, agony, or hatred were expressed. Instead, Vader rose. His new suit was completely resistant against any form of lightning, making Palpatine force moves useless. Standing on his feet again, all of the joy and happiness in Palpatine's face evaporated, and was left with fear. For the first time in his long life, Palpatine feared Vader. He feared for his life. Vader called for his saber across the room as it entered his hand once again. This time, he swung at Palpatine with fury and anger. He used his raw strength that Palpatine could not match. He was on the back foot and losing. In time, Palpatine couldn't hold on any longer and Vader disarmed him and forced his lightsaber through his stomach. Palpatine fell to the floor and stared into Vader's eyes, the eyes of his murderer. Emperor Palpatine was dead. Vader had completed his goal. He marched to Palpatine's desk and sat down on his throne. The Empire was his. Word of Palpatine's death spread like wildfire. People already knew who Vader was, or at least they knew of the dark figure who slaughtered millions for sport. But now he ruled them all. He was the Emperor of the galaxy. Vader's first moves were aggressive. He commissioned an additional 4 Death Stars to be built alongside the first, so that he could create total domination over the galaxy. His suit was so powerful that no one could ever try and kill him again. Vader could finally rest over the entire galaxy. He had won. That is, until he discovered 2 children called Luke and Leia. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. What did you think? Do you think Luke and Leia would be powerful enough to defeat their father and restore peace to the galaxy? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you would like a part 2 to this where we see Luke and Leia travel the galaxy and search for their father, then I would be happy to do that. Vader upgrading his suit is something I never understood why he wouldn't. In canon, it's said that he wanted to remain in pain, but I think that's just to cover the very clear plot hole. It would have solved all of his problems, and I believe he then would have been strong enough to take on Palpatine, especially if the suit was resistant to lightning, which he definitely would have included. But his suit is iconic and one of the main reasons Star Wars is where it is today. Let me know what you thought of the story in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed it, and may the Force be with you.